Sounds good.
This is a very great question.
I like it.
It says, what do you want the Pistons identity to be? I'll just go first, and I don't know whether you're going to agree with this or not, but I constantly hear Troy Weaver in press conferences saying that we want to restore the Detroit Pistons. We want to be the Detroit Pistons of old. And my only issue with when he says we want to be a hard, gritty defensive team is we live in an era where defense isn't valued right now.
Yes.
Offense is valued. I think the Pistons need to adapt with the times. We can still love and respect the bad boys. We can still love and respect the going to work Pistons, locking people down defensively. But you can't play defense like that anymore. You shouldn't be drafting guys that are more defensive minded and offensive minded when the league has shifted to more offensive driven. You can still get guys that are, good defenders that can defend right now, currently in the NBA. But I think where I'd like the identity to go is I need the Pistons to just modernize and adapt with the way the NBA is heading. Adapt with getting guys that can get a bucket, can hit a 3-point shot, get to the free throw line. I don't care if they can guard 5 positions they can't shoot. That's not going to win me basketball games at the end of the day. That's just my opinion. I think that's the way they need to what's the word I want to look for? Just
restore.
Not restore. I don't want to say reinvent, but just try to modernize a new Pistons way, because I think the old Pistons way of trying to lock teams down defensively, it's just not going to work in 2024 when there's hand checking rules and you can't even touch a guy defensively. I think it just needs to be a more of an offensive driven mindset versus defense. That's just my opinion, though.
No, I do agree. I think that restore the grit of Detroit, as much as I have such fond memories of that going to work Pistons, and also just obviously wasn't around for it, but grew to appreciate the bad boys through the secondhand experience that I got. So I would love for this team to be, defensive minded, tough. But that to me is PR in a sense. If you're really trying to build a team that way, you're probably not going to build anything great. And maybe they are, because they haven't built anything great. So maybe they really are trying to build that way. But all jokes aside, you're right. You do have to modernize this team, get with the times, and I think Troy's approach, at least for the prospects he's drafted, they've all been pretty what I would call modern prospects. I don't think any of them are really traditional. Like, he's going for super athletes, but they're all playmakers. Like Asar, he trusts his playmaking. Ivy, Cade, playmakers. Jalen Duren's shown some flashes as a playmaker. Like they kind of like beef stew in that way. Like, they've shown that the kind of blueprint of what they want to build, and they've, even though they've been taking just best player available, they have kind of had this one identity in mind, and it's going to be interesting to see where they go from there. But I want the Pistons identity, like you said, be more offensive, because what's the last team that was like a championship team where their true calling card was defense? Like, every championship team has, for the most part, had a pretty good defense. But what was the last team that was like Cleveland last year was far and away the best defensive team in the regular season? They got destroyed. They got smoked in the playoffs. So you do have to build, obviously, both sides of the ball. You can't just ignore defense, but you damn sure in today's NBA can't ignore offense. So you build around Cade Cunningham, Ivy, their potential, Asar's potential, and then you hope that Jalen Duren is an awesome rim protecting center. You hope that Cade and Ivy are good enough defensively. Asar is great defensively. So you hope that those pieces all fall into place defensively, but offensively, you're looking at how do Cade and Ivy work. When we talk about that backcourt, it's funny. We never talk about the defensive side of it. We never talk about that. We only talk about who's going to be the shooter And can Ivy, like you said, be a moving shooter or like, you know, like that? We always focus on the offense side of the ball because that's where today's NBA is.
Yeah, because I was just interested. I looked up the top 10 teams in the NBA with the defensive rating. Obviously, Minnesota's one. But Minnesota's situation is unique because they have
frauds, by the way.
Yeah, because they have Rudy Gobert and Cat's going to be out for who knows how long, and Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels. Like that team is just going to be in cap space hell in a couple, probably this summer.
Yeah, I think it starts this summer.
Yeah, this summer for sure. I mean, Boston's number 2. They have a defensive rating of 110. Just for people wanting to know what the Pistons' defensive rating is, it's 119, which is 29th out of 30th in the NBA. Washington is the worst defensive team in the NBA. Like I said, if you want to hang your hat on defense, you can do that, but you need to get guys that can play two ways. You need to get guys that are two-way players. Like the Pistons try to get guys that are good defenders, but can't put the ball in the basket.
Killian Hayes.
If no shot at Killian Hayes, by the way.
I think for you.
All right, you did it, not me. But like I said, if you want to be a defensive team, because I know someone had mentioned Miami. The only difference with Miami is Miami actually has players that can score the basketball. Like they have Tyler Hero, they have Duncan Robinson. Bam Adebayo, some nights can score, some nights he can't. Jimmy Butler in the fourth quarter is just insane to me. I don't understand it. But, I mean, if you want to be a defensive team, that's all well and fine. But you have to have players that can score on both, can score and play a little bit of defense. The Pistons have guys that can play defense, but they really can't score.
Yeah. I agree. It's just everything the NBA has shown us, and they talked about, they're gonna change defense, or they're gonna kind of tweak things where it's more favorable for the defense because it's gotten a little too out of hand for the offense. But this offense league, and it is that way now. So you got to always keep in mind offense. Again, you got to be good at both sides of the ball to win a championship most times, and you damn sure can't ignore the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, like I said, it's just to your point. I think it is a PR stunt by Troy and the Pistons saying we want to restore what used to be great here when it's been on life support for 15 years.